A double blow to silver hits this Thursday. This is crazy. This Thursday is going to be a volatile nightmare for the price of silver. We have two reports coming out on the same day. Both are set to hit silver in a big way. I'm going to break this down and show there are moments in stacking silver where cashing out is the smartest thing to do, because 48 hours from now, everything is putting downward pressure on the price of silver. This is from Yahoo Finance, and the headline says, traders are bracing for volatility on Fed CPI double blow. The article starts by saying, whether it's another move up or a dive down, traders are bracing for added volatility wrought by Wednesday's dual macroeconomic catalysts, a report on consumer prices in the morning and the Federal Reserve's rate decision in the afternoon. These are two key factors and they're coming out on the same day. Let's continue. This article says the options market is betting the S&P 500 index will move 1.25% in either direction that day. So the article also says over the past year, the markets have largely priced CPI and Fed days similarly at 0.75% each on average. So doubling them up makes it a bigger event and raises uncertainty around the event. The key word there is uncertainty. And I would say that this is going to be a massive disruption. We have another key player coming at us in the next 48 hours. This week, Saudi Arabia announced that they are breaking away from the petrodollar system. And that impacts the strength of the dollar. The price of silver has an inverse relationship to the strength of the dollar. When the dollar is strong, the price of silver and precious metals in general goes down, and vice versa. If the price of the dollar is weak, then people pull their investments out of treasuries and they go into the safe store of wealth, like this silver I'm holding in my hand, and that impacts the price of silver, pushing it up. So we have I started this video by saying we have two key components hitting silver. We actually have three, because that petrodollar system is changing. And in a minute, I'm actually going to throw in a fourth. This is a big week for the price of silver. Let's keep going. This article says inflation has been the main focus for investors. Labor market has remained strong. U.S. job growth soared in May, with non-farm payrolls advancing by 272,000. Now, we have a dichotomy that we struggle with as silver stackers. We want a strong economy. We want to live in a country with an economy that is expanding and is growing and is creating jobs. But at the same time, that impacts the price of silver, because a weak economy actually boosts the price of silver. If the economy is weak, people feel uncertain. And whenever people feel uncertain, they look for a safe store of wealth and they go into this precious metal, and that brings up our price of silver. So we have that struggle. We have the angel and the devil on our shoulders at all times when we're looking at this. So here's a fourth key component that is hitting the price of silver. I'm telling you, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a silver stacker. And I'm telling you, with my experience of years stacking silver, these are the key economic indicators that I see impacting the price of silver. And if you're enjoying this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe. It really helps to get this information out there. Now here's a fourth. I started this video by saying there's two components hitting silver this week. And then I said three, and I'm telling you there's actually a fourth. This is a big week for the price of silver. This is from Yahoo Finance also. And the article says, key healthcare company files unexpected Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Now, these are the real economic indicators that impact the price of silver, because sure, the Fed can give us their data and Wall Street can jump like a puppet the moment the Fed makes any announcement. That will happen. And silver, of course, will take about 24 hours, and then the price of silver will respond to that movement in Wall Street. But here, this article actually highlights a economic indicator, a real life economic indicator, as I like to call it, because these bankruptcies, these really show that there's uncertainty in our population and there's a big disruption. And whenever that happens, whenever we see a disruption in any form, people feel uncertain and they look for that safety of precious metals. They put their money into silver, and that impacts the price of silver. Now, this article says that Q Health, founded in 2010, started with great hopes as it promised a way to accurately test for COVID-19. This is back in 2010. And they became, of course, very successful through the pandemic. This article says that the company went public in 2021 at $16 and rose to $20.55 and carried that massive $2.3 billion valuation. For a while, things looked great. Q had contracts with the NBA, with Major League Baseball, Department of Defense, all of these contracts. But as the pandemic faded, and this is what the article is telling us, by early 2023, despite efforts to find new markets for its products, the shares had fallen 97%. Wow, from Q's IPO price, 97%. And revenue was down 97% as well. So this is a huge company in the healthcare field filing for bankruptcy. And again, when we see disruption like this, people start to feel uncertain about the future. And when they feel that way, they move into the safety of precious metals, and that gives silver a change in their price. I started this by saying that the Fed announcements and the data coming out are going to impact the price of silver. That's coming to us in 48 hours. The third is the change in the petrodollar system this week, which is, I can't overstate that enough. I mean, it's just massive. That is a huge change. And that's going to impact gold first. But silver always has a lag to gold. And last, we have more bankruptcies. So this is a big week for silver.